Hey, Frank and Aaron, privacy expert and blackmail strategist. I'm going to talk about how to negotiate with a blackmailer. Now, I'm not talking from the perspective of dealing with Facebook blackmail, Instagram blackmail, something digital where you never met the person and they're anonymous and it just happened online. This is about in-person blackmail where a victim has had a relationship, encountered, the other person, and the other person flipped the script and is now blackmailing. So when I discuss an issue with a client, what I listen for in the conversation is the intent. What does the person want? Now, in relationship blackmail, whether it be a sugar daddy situation, long-term escort, extramarital affair, there are typically three reasons or three things that occur, or one of three things I should say. It could be just a demand for money. It could be, I don't want to let go, and they just put up a fight with that. Or it could be revenge and anger. So when it comes to money blackmail, often what happens in sugar daddy situations, and sometimes in extramarital affairs, is, the person enters it, never thinks about an exit, and they just think all's cool in the gang, but they want to end it. Now, the problem is when you want to end it, you're talking about cutting somebody's finances off and they're going to lose money and it could piss them off. Or they could just say, you know what, man, I want a payday. And typically that's what happens. It's a large payday. They know you have the money and they're taking advantage of that. If you pay, they come back for more. Always remember that. Blackmailers, when they get a taste of that money, they just come back. That's the bottom line. So you can't pay the money. So when I take over, okay, and I pose as you, we switch them to my communications, it's about stalling. Blackmail, money blackmail is about exhausting the scam, meaning, you just put them in a position where they're not getting paid because you're delaying, stalling, creating excuses. You're never saying no, you never go head to head with them. You just, look, this is not the time, I need a little time to get some cash, I need to speak to a friend of mine, I need to be discreet. So it's always about just delaying it. So in most people, they don't know how to blackmail. The extent of their blackmail knowledge is, maybe reading something online or, watching a Hollywood film. And they think that, okay, I got the dirt, I'm gonna demand money, they're gonna pay me. Now, when you throw a stone in it, boom, and you're delaying, they don't necessarily know how to deal with that. And the only thing they can do is threaten again. And so you delay again. And so what happens is it puts them in this stalemate situation because if they expose you, they don't get any money. Plus, most people don't expose because it's a huge thing to do to actually destroy someone's marriage and their job and their reputation, because who knows what kind of blowback comes from that. And in-person blackmailers know that, and they know that you have access to them. So they don't, it's rare that they go nuclear, and most money blackmailers don't pull that lever. What happens is it just takes a while to deflate the situation where you're putting them continuously in a position where they don't know how to get money. So they come to realize nothing's coming, and most blackmailers then just disappear. But it's a process. It's a stressful process for victims. That's where I come in. The stress is really nothing for me, and I recognize someone's intent almost immediate through the text, because people create these patterns and they threaten, and then come down. When they start to negotiate, that's when you know you got them. That's when you know that they just have no clue what to do. Now, extramarital affairs and even sometimes sugar daddy situations can create relationships you've never expected. You go into it, you're looking for fun, you figure no strings attached, there's almost like this understanding of what you two are doing. The problem is you just don't know the emotions of the other person, and you want to end it, but they love you and they start expressing that. They don't want to let go. You can't kick them, okay? Because if you kick them while they're down, just like cut them off, you just have no control of the situation and you don't know what they're going to do. So that could basically prompt someone to blackmail you, but not blackmail you for money, but just basically, look, if you don't stay with me, I could do this, I could do that, I love you, I care about you. The idea, again, is to deflate the situation. Just, just look, this is not the time. I need some time to think about it. It's continuously, it's slowly pulling away, but it's giving this piece for them to hold on to. And that piece is, I need some time. I got to wrap my head around this, because in their head, they think that this is a possibility. But what you're really doing is just slowly pulling and pulling and pulling away. And so eventually what occurs in these situations, in most situations, is they just end up forgetting about it because it's not getting anywhere. Where the danger lies is there's a small percentage that will cross over into that revenge or that stalking individual. That's a problem. That's not easily negotiated. That's more about, how do you defend yourself and how do you make sure you're safe, your family's safe. So it just changes the situation. But typically in the stalking situations, you see that right off the bat. Same thing with the revenge. Now, sometimes blackmailers will bluff this anger. You better pay this, and they seem really maniacal. But you have to look for the tells. Does it go threaten, and does it then just diffuse? I mean, when they're not getting money, because somebody who's really angry, pissed off, and kind of caught up in this emotions, they don't care about the outcome, and that's the dangerous person, because they're unpredictable. So it's always about controlling the emotions of the conversation, always keeping it digital. Sometimes people will threaten to show up at work, and the idea is like, look, it's just not a good idea. Maybe we can arrange, another time. I just can't do this now. It's creating those excuses. Now, this may sound kind of like long-winded at this point, but to cut to the chase, blackmail negotiating is always about diffusing. It's always about promising. And, if you keep those two things in mind, okay, you can get out of blackmail successfully. If you need help, I can take over. I pose as you, and I deal with the situation. I'm extremely good when it comes to dealing with blackmail. So be safe. Any questions, just ask. Frank M. Ahern.